It was early morning, just before rounds. I was putting on my white coat when my phone rang. It was Anita's mom. Her voice broke before she could even say the words. She's gone. A fist closed around my chest, my breath caught. I leaned against the hospital wall as the world around me swirled. The antiseptic sting in the air, the steady beeping in the monitors, nurses shuffling quietly past me with clipboards in their hands. The sounds of the hospital still there, but suddenly distant, muffled, unreal. Anita? My best friend? My go-to person since medical school? The one who laughed with me in anatomy class. The one who cared for me when I was so far away from home. We were doing our residencies. Becoming doctors was our dream since we were little girls. And she became the first doctor in her family, the first female doctor in an immigrant family. She dreamed of caring for patients, of having a career in medicine, of having a family, a life. But her body was slowly betraying her inside. Anita fought so hard through chemo, through losses. She knew her body might never allow her to have children, might never allow her to have the life we both dreamed of. She still fought. Anita was 29, brilliant, strong, beautiful, and now she was gone. And you know what? With her, something inside me was dying too. Anita's loss made me question everything. What if we'd gotten it all wrong? What if, in chasing success, I was quietly losing myself? One day, I had worked the overnight shift and had admitted 6 patients from the ER. I cared for all 10 patients on my ward. I hadn't slept. I hadn't eaten. I was on my 3rd French vanilla cappuccino from the vending machine. Good job, smooth handoff, said the attending physician the next morning. Labs expedited, orders placed in time. Excellent work. The attending was praising me. And yet, I felt empty. And the truth is, this emptiness is not unique to medicine. What if the very culture we celebrate is making us miserable? Psychologists at Northwestern University coined the term normative misery. Misery is normal. In a study of 85,000 college students, nearly half described themselves as happy with their lives. But the psychologists at Northwestern warn, they're not thriving. They're performing happiness while suppressing joy. Imagine that. A generation already fluent in misery, in normative misery. I didn't have enough evidence, so I decided to test my theory in another context. My life became the testing lab. And I chose to leave clinical medicine, the world of patients and hospitals, to go work in pharma, the world of research and drug development. So I walked into my program director's office to share my decision. Everybody had lined up their next steps. I hadn't. So, Sonal, what are you going to do when you graduate? I didn't have Mayo or Mass General lined up. What I had was curiosity to understand how the healthcare system operates outside of the clinic. Her lips tightened. Is this what you trained for? Once you leave, there is no coming back. As if stepping off that treadmill is failure. And in that moment, there was this voice inside of me that said, this is the hypothesis. Maybe we've normalized exhaustion and called it ambition. Leaving wasn't failure, and it wasn't rebellion. I wanted to test whether happiness could exist outside of medicine. I made it all the way to the top as chief medical officer. I had the top 1% performing team in the entire global company. And then came the day I'll never forget. It was fall, the crisp smell in the air, kids back in school, the city buzzing outside. My boss, the fifth in 6 months, had booked a last-minute conference room overlooking the New York City skyline. And I soaked in that view like oxygen. And then he walked in. His energy was heavy. His body language stiff. We're reorganizing. We're combining roles. And I think you'd be perfect to lead the new role. We just need you to apply. He thought I would be perfect to lead yet another business line. I was already logging in over 80-hour weeks at this company. Economists at Stanford have found that productivity flatlines at 55 hours. 70 hours gives you nothing more. And the World Health Organization has found that working beyond 55 hours increases your risk of heart attacks and stroke. And here's the thing about experiments. You can change the environment and maintain the same condition, and the outcome doesn't change. So while I had swapped my white coat for a corporate badge, the pattern followed me. My stress levels were high, my skin filled with rashes, my digestion off. At home, I snapped at my family. The people I loved the most got the worst of me. And my colleagues on Zoom, they got the polished mask. I should have been ready to fight for it. But there was that voice again. This is all wrong. Normative misery. And then it clicked. I had been running the same experiment in different labs and wondering why the outcome never changed. So I shut the lab down and I left pharma. And for the first time in my life, I turned the microscope inwards onto my life. And I started a business, creating space for others to thrive in without burnout. And in the process, I found a wider horizon. The next morning, I woke up in silence. No inbox, no back-to-back meetings, just me. My morning walk filled with nature. I noticed the fall trees for the first time that season. My cup of tea with cinnamon and cardamom, savored and gulped. I wasn't gulping life down. I was tasting it. My shoulders dropped. My chest expanded. My body felt spacious again. And you know what? I wasn't miserable. And that's when I remembered what Stephen King writes about in his book, On Writing. Life isn't a support system for art. It's the other way around. And he wasn't just talking about writing, but about life. reminding us that our work should serve our living, not consume it. What if our craft served our life instead of our life serving our craft? All this time, I had been living my life backwards, chasing success at the cost of myself. But that day and that morning, I chose to start living forward. Anita didn't have a choice, but I did. And Anita's fight taught me the true meaning of living forward. Living forward is not slowing down. It's moving with intention deliberately. Living forward isn't anti-ambition. It's ambition with intention. Because true success is measured not by how much you can endure, but how much you can expand without losing yourself. Living forward became my experiment and my evolution. The morning I took a walk before a client's call, I caught on something she wasn't saying because my mind was clear. The team meeting where I was able to solve something creatively because I'd actually slept. The laughter at the dining table with my family because I finally had the energy to be present. Living forward is about nourishing yourself so that you can give fully to your work, your relationships, and your life without getting caught in the trap of backward success and the illusion that depletion equals devotion. Your work needs you whole. Your family needs you whole. The world needs you whole. You need you whole. So I leave you with this. How much misery have you accepted as normal? Where might you be living backward success? And starting tomorrow, how beautifully could you start living forward? Thank you.